Microsoft Word 2003 Automatic Features, Part 2. In this area, we are looking at automatic features. And that means not only do you have autocorrect and you have auto text, you also have auto format that will do some small formatting while you type, as well as afterwards when you're taking a look at your entire document. Here in part 2 on our automatic features in Word 2003, we're going to concentrate solely on auto format, how we can do it after we've typed in a whole bunch of things, and even some of the small things that can be automatically formatted while we type. So remember, in our first part of this series, we already took a look at the autocorrect and auto text. Now, something to understand about those were all done while we were typing. You know, it would suggest something for me for auto text. It would correct something automatically without me even doing anything with autocorrect. With auto format, this feature is typically going to be used when you've already typed up a letter like you see here. I've got my customer response 3 with all the changes I made. There's my new sentence. It's even still got the the telephone number, my best regards that was suggested by AutoText. But now I want to make sure that this letter is maybe a little better. How can I do that? Well, maybe I want to format it and have Word 2003 make some suggestions to me. Believe me, I am not the best at coming up with some of this business correspondence. I mean, do I always put Dan's name up here? I mean, I think that's what I do. Do I put my address down here? What looks good? What's appropriate for the document that I'm trying to type up? Well, with auto format, it will make those suggestions and do those things to help you out. Now, one thing that I am going to show you here is the fact that I've got my letter, my customer response 3, and in order to do the auto format, I simply come up to Format, which of course has all my formatting capabilities, and I'm going to say I want to auto format. Makes sense, right? Click on it, and now it's going to give me the options. Word will automatically format customer response 3. Okay, now the two choices I have is auto format now. If I select this one, it will go through, make the changes, and pretty much leave it the way it is, or the way that it's changed it. Auto format will allow you to review each change once it's made. It'll go through, it'll make the changes and say, hey, do you want to review every single one of them that you've gone through? Okay, that sounds like a good idea. You can also say, please select a document type to help improve the formatting process. Right now it's just a general document, but we know that this is actually a letter. That's what we're looking at. It's not an email, it's a letter. So let's go ahead and select letter. The other thing we're going to see is we have options. What do we want auto format to change? What are some of the things that we know first off that it's going to do? When I select the options, it brings up the autocorrect dialog box, which we are familiar with. We've already seen autocorrect and auto text, but here's auto format. It'll say, do you want to apply built-in heading styles, bulleted list, list styles, and it will also replace things like straight quotes with smart quotes, ordinals with the superscript. So if you do first, the ST will then be superscripted up. Fractions will look like fractions. That's nice. Bold and italic with real formatting. Now this is interesting. Sometimes you might be having somebody go through and they'll say, oh, I want to bold this or do something. Now we could say, well, isn't it easier just to hit like Control B or highlight and hit bold? Yeah, but sometimes you'll be given text from somebody that's maybe an editor that will go in and say bold this or italicize this, and they'll use like double asterisks around a bold or a double underlines around italic. Well, when it does that, Word can recognize that and then bold and italicize with real formatting. Then you can see that we have our internet and network paths with hyperlinks. Here, just a word of caution with that. If you are still planning on doing some editing, the internet and network paths with hyperlinks, by the way, Word automatically will try when you start typing in www dot something like acme.com, it will automatically assume that you're doing a hyperlink. But you can turn that feature off, and if you do, now when you come through with auto formatting, it will go through and try to find any HTTP references for like web links or URLs, and it will replace it with hyperlinks, and even network paths like C:/, my documents / whatever. The problem is if you ever want to edit that path, if you go up to it and you select it and then hit backspace, the whole thing goes away and you have to retype it in. So I usually wait to the very end to do any of that automatic hyperlinking. But if you know, all you have to do is then turn it off if you don't want it to do it. We'll go ahead and leave it on. I don't think we have anything here. We can preserve our styles the way I've got my styles. Well, I don't want to preserve the styles. And you can always auto format plain text Word mail documents, which means if I'm using Word as my email editor, auto format will take plain text and create it something different, which is kind of nice. So we say, okay, these are the options that we want to go with. We have our letter, we have our auto format and review each change. Time to go. Let's click OK. I click OK and boop, there it goes. Auto format is now complete. You can now accept or reject all the changes, review and reject individual changes, or choose a custom look with the style gallery. Here's our style gallery. Here's our review changes. If I want to accept or reject all the changes, I merely just click accept all or reject all. And any changes that were done down here will then be, made right. So if we scroll down here, we'll see that, oh, it went ahead and made best regards and stuck it out here. Well, I didn't do that. Auto formatting did. Says, oh, you want to put that, in place. And because I had the Chris W here, it did some inside address things. So if I'd added some space here, it would have, brought this over into the middle. So it's done some automatic formatting here. Now, I might say, nah, I don't like that, so I'll reject all. Or, hey, you know what? I like most of it, but I don't like this. Well, then I can review the changes. So I'll click on Review Changes, and it will bring up all my editing marks, my paragraphs, soft, hard formats here for my, all the things that were added in. And you can see that it's going, all right, here's the best regards. It added another, paragraph space. It does some formatting. I can find all the changes by merely clicking on the back or the forward button. So if I click Find, it starts off with the, hey, it did a format here. Let me go see what did it do. It said this is a return address. So it formatted it as a return address. And notice it got my track changes notes show up, which are going to be hidden. Those won't be showing up. Then we also have my paragraph, and notice it highlights this one. So if I hit find the next one, it says that that's the format for that one. I click on the next one. It deleted one, and then it hid the smart tag. It performed a normal edit and applied a style for return address. So again, every time you did one of these changes, you can either reject it or just move along and accept it. So once we've gone through, and if I wanted to, let me go back to applied style normal. Let's reject that. Okay, that's fine. Or I can undo that. So it gives me the options here. So it's a lot of flexibility on the reviewing the individual changes. Find, change. I can also hide the marks, show the marks. It's just the same as this key right up here. So let's go ahead and cancel out. And now I can say, do I want to accept all or reject all? Let me go ahead and go to the style gallery first, and we'll show you just a little bit about what we can do here. So we click on the style gallery, and now it says, here's your current format. Okay, sounds good. And look at all the different styles I've got. Professional, I can do a thesis, standard facts, any of these type of capabilities. Brochures, contemporary. A lot of these are just change your font and the format of where the addresses go. But it's okay. I can select something like I want a contemporary letter. It'll give you, if this is your document, if you select on example, it'll take a second. It'll go out and say, well, this is what a contemporary letter looks like. So you can see exactly all of the changes that you might see on here. And again, it's just a different type of style, and that's what the style gallery is all about. I can do an elegant letter and see an example of an elegant letter if I want to. So if I look at my document here, it says here's what my document is. If I want to look at an example of an elegant letter, I just go back to example. Sometimes you have to deselect off it and come back to actually see what the elegant letter would look like. So we got elegant, we got professional. We have all different types of styles that we can use. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and I want to be professional. So I'm going to make it a professional letter. Let's see what the example shows me here. Because we got temporary. Oh, okay, that looks nice. And maybe it'll add a, give me an option to add my little logo or something on it later on. But let me go ahead and go back to my document. So I've selected, if you remember, professional letter. I click OK, and it says, all right, sounds good. It shows you what it looks like. And I can still review the changes, by the way, if I want to, or just kind of scroll down. Notice it put Dan's return mailing address up here at the top centered. Okay, that must be a professional thing. And that's pretty much it. Looks like it kept everything else the same. So that's just one option that you would have with that particular style. So we go ahead and let's say we accept all. Well, there it is. Now I've accepted the styles and any changes for the auto formatting. Remember how I said auto format is based upon the, coming in and selecting text and doing it? Well, some auto formatting is actually done while you type. You can do that as well. So let's go up to our tools, autocorrect options, and you'll notice that under auto format, which we already looked, here were some of the things that we applied. We also have auto format as you type. Now, some of these are the ones that you noticed I talked about. Remember how I said it automatically does the hyperlinks by default? Well, that's under the auto format as you type. Now I can turn that off and that will change. We'll show you how some of these work. Here's the ordinals with superscript. You can automatically do bulleted lists. So if I type in something and hit bullet on it and then hit enter, it'll automatically continue the bulleted lists. If I type in one dot and then type something, we'll show you some of this auto formatting right now. But and again, automatically as you type, format the beginning of the list item like the one, set left. These are all options that you can use, either replacing as you type, apply as you type, whatever you need to do. So let's show you some of these auto formats in action. Let's say I want to do internet and network paths with hyperlinks. Let me go ahead and click OK. We'll come down here and say our first website. Now I'm going to show you. When I do this, see how it changed it automatically? It formatted it to that ordinal to a superscript. Our first website is www.acme.com, and I'm going to hit space. It immediately changes it to a hyperlink. And now it automatically adds the HTTP and all the appropriate thing. If I wanted to, I could hit Control plus to follow that link, and it'll take me to something like acme.com. Now watch what happens though when I hit backspace. See, while I'm running it right now, it'll let me change and format this. So if I say www.cbtnuggets.com and hit space, what if I wanted to go in and just instead of backspacing all through it and I want to change it? Can I do that? Yep. Selecting it right there will allow us to do it with the auto format. So here we can see how this all works. Now I can hit Control plus and follow the link to make sure it works. So I do that. It says, all right, it's going to load this document, which means literally it's going to open up a Internet Explorer browser and show you what that website actually looks like. So boop, it opens up. Now we can see that we have our CBT Nuggets, and so I can check the link and make sure that it works, and we can see all the latest from CBT Nuggets, your IT certification gurus. All right, enough with the plug. So let's go ahead and close that and come down here. Also notice it'll show you that I've actually followed it with the, it changes to the purple color, which means you've actually clicked on that link. Now let's say I don't want to do that. What if I don't want it to automatically put in the web link, the hyperlink? So let me go ahead and back up. Now we'll come up to Format, Auto Format, or actually Tools, autocorrect options. And we can come up to Auto Format as you type, and I deselect it. Internet and network paths with hyperlinks. We'll take that off. So I click OK. Now it's going to say our first website is www.cbtnuggets.com. Oop, spell it. Notice I hit space. Nothing. It's just the text because I turned the auto format as you type off. Now what is kind of cool is if I wanted to come up here and click Format, Auto Format, and let's go ahead and auto format and review each change this time. And this time when I click on my options, notice it says Internet and Network Paths with hyperlinks. Let's see what happens now when I do this. So I click OK, and yeah, it did it, didn't it? www.cbtnuggets.com. So if you have it turned off when you do auto type, something I typically do, you can always come back and use the auto format as I mentioned before, and it will come in and fill in the back, come in the backside and fill in whatever you need to do from a hyperlink standpoint. So this is good. We'll go ahead and accept all, and now my www.cbtnuggets.com is now hyperlinked and ready to go. So we saw auto format in all of its glory, how we can come back in on documents maybe we typed up or taken care of earlier on and use auto format on it. We also saw that some of the features are even available while we type. Typically, you'll keep most of those on, but it's always nice to be able to come back in afterwards and use auto format to change styles, to go in and make it look a little bit better with your addressing or your tabs or your indents or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.